Drone operators of the Madyar division of the Ukrainian armed forces have prevented another Russian army attack launched with armored combat vehicles. A tank and an armored infantry fighting vehicle equipped with anti-drone devices were targeted by kamikaze drones. As a result, both vehicles exploded and were destroyed. The infantrymen in the armored combat vehicle tried to leave and hide around the vehicle. However, they were hit in another drone strike and killed. In the Kremlin, there is currently a confrontation between the conventional parties of war and peace. The first wants to reach an agreement with Washington on ending aggression against Ukraine, the second wants to extend the so-called SVO. Russian human rights activist and founder of the group Gulagu.net, Vladimir Osechkin, spoke about this. The human rights activist confirmed rumors that the Kremlin is concerned about the prospect of a quarrel with US President Donald Trump. Since yesterday, the US and Europe have shown Putin and Russia red lines. We are talking about preparing to introduce new sanctions that will hit the Russian economy, the oligarchs, and Family 2.0, those people who are in Putin's inner circle, very hard. They understand that time is running out quickly and they need to take certain steps to prevent a new escalation with the West. This is pushing them to put pressure on Putin. And this is not polite talk. Putin's inner circle is now putting powerful pressure on him to change his position, to retreat, to back off, to change his demands. Because what he voiced through Lavrov at the beginning of the week is completely unacceptable. And it is obvious that this will lead to a new round of sanctions, which will most likely finish off the Russian economy and will definitely put a fat point in the issue of Putin and his elite emerging from international isolation, Osechkin said. According to him, Putin's daughter Ekaterina Tikhanova is a member of the Peace Party. She and her close associates do not want the bloodshed to stop, but rather peace with the West. Putin's time is running out. He is, in fact, already a temporary worker. For them, the task is to do everything possible to make friends, to partner with at least part of the American elites. And the only way to do this is to stop the fighting, to move on to negotiations to end the war. And Putin's daughter Katerina, and Natasha Popova, and Kirill Dmitriev, and the oligarchs who surround them, who are their wallets, are now trying in every way, with persuasion and arguments, to put pressure on Putin so that he retreats from his demands, the human rights activist said. This group is opposed by the War Party, the military leadership and security forces who profit from continuing aggression. And tensions are growing between these Kremlin towers. The Putin regime's margin of safety has come to an end. If sanctions are rolled over even one more time, he will have problems selling oil and gas, and his regime will collapse like a house of cards. Now is the best time for both Family 2.0 and Putin to pull the stopcock, somehow explaining this to the domestic audience, Osechkin stated. Ukrainian drones attacked Russia on the night of May 3. Air defense was operating in the Krasnodar territory, Rostov region and occupied Crimea. More than 15 explosions were heard in Novorossiysk, 10 over Anapa, 5 in Slavyansk-na-Kubani, and from 4 to 8 over Feodosia and Kerch. The Ukrainian armed forces were also accused of a combined air and water attack on Novorossiysk. More than 15 explosions were counted there, and a residential complex was damaged. Russian military personnel destroyed unmanned boats and aircraft-type drones in the Black Sea. Ukraine launches drones against Russia primarily to weaken Russia's military capabilities, disrupt logistics, and degrade assets used to support the aggression in Ukraine. Typical targets include military airfields, air defense systems, weapons production plants, ammunition depots, oil refineries, and fuel depots in occupied territories and deep inside Russia. Russian forces also claim to have intercepted additional weapons systems over the Black Sea, including 8 Storm Shadow cruise missiles and 3 Ukrainian Neptune MD guided missiles. The Defense Ministry further reported destroying 14 Ukrainian unmanned boats in Black Sea waters. The incident represents one of the largest drone attacks reported by Russian authorities in recent months, with multiple regions experiencing simultaneous strikes. On the night of May 2, Ukrainian drones also struck Russia's Zvezda space electronic reconnaissance facility in the village of Moskovskoye, Stavropol Krai. The attack targeted a key Soviet-era GRU intelligence site specializing in intercepting NATO and foreign satellite communications. The Zvezda base, operational since the 1970s and featuring a distinctive array of parabolic antennas, plays a critical role in Russia's space signal intelligence and psychological operations. Recently, drone strike targeted a key Russian electronics plant in the city of Bryansk, Russian Telegram channels and a Ukrainian official claimed. Bryansk Oblast Governor Alexander Bogomaz claimed that Ukrainian forces launched a massive attack against the region. Unidentified drones targeted the Kremlin plant, a major facility specializing in microelectronics for Russia's military-industrial complex, said Andriy Kovalenko, an official at Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council. The plant produces components for missile systems such as the Topol-M, Bulava, and Iskander, as well as for radars, electronic warfare systems, drones, and the onboard electronics of military aircraft, according to Russian open sources. Some days ago, Russian air defenses opened fire against drones in the Alabuga Special Economic Zone in Russia's Tatarstan, the site of a Shahid-type drone factory, independent news channel Astra reported. Astra and other Telegram channels shared purported footage of a drone being shot down. Shot channel identified the drones as Aeroprakt A-22 and UJ-22 airborne unmanned aircraft. Alabuga lies more than 1,000 kilometers from the Russia-Ukraine border. Ukrainian long-range drones struck the facility last April, aiming to disrupt Russian production of Shahids and their Russian-made variants, Garants, which are widely used in aerial attacks against Ukraine. Over 6,000 Shahid-type drones were produced in Alabuga last year, as well as thousands of decoy drones used to overwhelm Ukrainian air defenses, said Andriy Kovalenko, an official at Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council. This year, Russia aims to produce 8,000 to 10,000 Shahids/Garants and 15,000 decoys in Alabuga, Kovalenko said.